Next up is Miriam Sliman. For those who've not met her, her reputation as a kind-hearted and caring friend precede her. Those who know her describe her presence as bringing about a feeling of comfort and warmth to those around her. With that, would you please welcome Miriam Sliman.
Thank you, Johnny, for the introduction. In 1972, Stanford psychologist Philip Zimbardo conducted a study known as the Stanford Prison Study, where he made a makeshift prison in one of the buildings on Stanford's campus. He assigned certain people to be police officers and certain people to be prisoners. They were put into these roles for 6 days before the experiment had to be stopped. The officers became harsh towards the prisoners, who were innocent people, their equals. The prisoners broke down as they were humiliated by people who had no real authority over them. Yet, they were put into a place where they were asked to play a role, and they became that, scientifically proving what we do and what we practice, we gradually become. There was a time I found myself at such a low point, not necessarily depressed, but completely disconnected. I had let my choices, the people I surrounded myself with, and my circumstances push me into a place where I wasn't taking care of myself. I was sick for months, taking countless medications, and having doctor's appointments up to 3 times a week, drained physically and emotionally because I wasn't honoring what I needed. I played a role so much to the point where I became a certain person at the expense of my well-being. I was afraid to admit how much I was struggling, but I couldn't keep hiding it anymore. My anxiety was literally killing me. I was a prisoner to it. It wasn't just worrying about the future or being scared of the unknown. It was the constant pressure, the feeling that I had to be perfect, that I had to keep up, that I had to please everyone around me. I was pushing myself into an unrealistic role. I grew up in a house of extremely smart people. My siblings were incredibly accomplished, both academically and athletically. They thrived in areas where I always felt I was falling short. For example, in 8th grade, I almost cried every time I stepped into algebra class. Don't even get me started on the math homework meltdowns that occurred at the kitchen table. I'm sorry, Dad. And I'll never forget the time I got a concussion in 5th grade playing dodgeball because I stepped on a ball and fell flat on my face. I did forget the exact moment because I passed out, but hearing the story when I woke up on the ground was nothing short of traumatizing. Thank you, Mom, for feeding me applesauce with medicine in it when I was in the ER. I appreciate it. All in all, I constantly felt like I was the one who couldn't quite keep up with the expectations of my family or of my peers. The role I had given myself was, to me, impossible to achieve. So I told myself that if I couldn't excel academically or athletically like everyone else, the only way I could make my mark was by being the most positive person I could be. I put myself into a different role. I tried to fill that gap in my life by being someone who always smiled, someone who always tried to make others feel seen and valued. When I became too tired to even try to be positive, to be a person who lifted others up, I realized I needed help. I couldn't keep pretending to be okay when I wasn't. That's when I understood it's not selfish to choose yourself. It's not selfish to take a step back and ask for help when you need it. In fact, it's necessary. When I came back from Christmas break earlier this year, Greer greeted me with, "We finally got Mimi back." At first, I didn't fully understand what she meant, but then my friends started teasing me about how awful I had looked the year before. Thanks, guys. And then Greer, in her very sweet way, added, "Yeah, your skin was actually horrible." Which is really funny coming from a person that I watched drop her phone into a sewer pipe and then be lowered into it by airport staff so she could retrieve said phone. However, I couldn't help but laugh because honestly, it was true. There were boxes on an imaginary sheet of paper that I was trying to check off, when in reality, it was just imaginary. The same way these prisoners were dehumanized and humiliated by imaginary prison guards. Our minds convince us of things that are not real, which can be incredibly damaging to our wellness. I'd like to give a quick thanks to Mr. Smith in my AP Psychology class, or else this speech would not be possible. The weight of anxiety and tension can kill freedom. It can steal your joy, your peace, and your ability to just live. But I'm here to tell you that it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to need time to heal. You won't lose yourself by doing that. You'll find yourself again, stronger than before. And when you do, you'll be able to live a life that's not defined by pressure, but by joy. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. Nobody is. Anxiety still creeps in at times, and I still have moments where I don't feel like myself. But now I know I'll find my way back. Because no matter what you were told, you can always pick yourself off the ground and put your mind in a different direction. Every single person in this room deserves the best, and I hope you never forget that. I hope you all remember that you are just as worthy of the kindness and the love that you give to others. I hope you find strength to choose a role in your life that you feel comfortable in, one that doesn't beat down on you, one you can realistically fill. I'd like to thank a couple of people. Thank you to my parents for sending me to the best place on earth and never complaining when I was too lazy to drive back to Mississippi myself, so you had to drive the 8 hours. I appreciate it more than you know. Thank you to all of the teachers and coaches I've had the honor of knowing during my time here. Y'all are truly the best school faculty anyone could ever ask for. Thank you to my dorm parents for constantly supporting and pushing me to be my best. Thank you to my family, not my blood family, but the family I've created here. Y'all have made nothing short of a tremendous impact on me, and I will forever be grateful to be blessed enough to have best friends as good as y'all. Lastly, thank you to everyone in this audience. The community at this school is one of the greatest, most supportive I've ever gotten the privilege to be a member of, and I'm truly grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you, and go Big Red.